Loss, something we've all experienced. In the 1300s, Dante lost his poetic muse, Beatrice. In the 21st century, I lost my father, Peter H.Liotta. This is a story of two men's lives, inextricably linked by art, by love, by the failings and triumphs of the human spirit. This is about learning to say goodbye, guided by my father, still trying to understand what Dante's journey means in the face of the human experience. This is Nel Mezzo Cammin.
Dr. Peter Liotta was killed in a single car accident Friday morning in Newport. Around 8 o'clock, the car he was driving struck a stone wall on Bellevue Avenue. When rescue arrived, the car was on fire with Liotta pinned inside. Police say Liotta was unresponsive as he was taken to Newport Hospital, where he later died.
My father was a diplomat, humanist, teacher, and greatest of all, poet. This is an excerpt from my favorite poem, a Dante-esque contemplation on death entitled Man with a Kite. Somewhere, near the middle passage of the sword of life, a man takes up his oars and rows with the wood. He considers as the blades skim and dip a mirror of absence, how it might show him something that mattered, some fire that burns through his core, leads him astray. He begins thinking of kites and a language of angels. I felt that he left this for me to try to find him, a piece of him through the language of Dante.
My world fell apart on August 31st, 2012, on a Friday. It was a 4-line email telling me my most beloved professor had died in a single car accident, ending with the question, "Did I need anything?" I thought, this isn't real. He is not dead. There's more time. How can he be dead? I have too many questions, and yes, I need him back. Dr. Liotta loved Dante Alighieri's work, The Commedia. He wrote in the opening to his syllabus, Dante asks himself, who am I? What is my purpose in life? What is my role as a citizen? What are my responsibilities as a citizen to challenge political order? I think Dr. Liotta tried to live a life by answering these questions.
He was chain smoking, big time. And I saw a different man there. Whoa, there's something happening. He wanted to be by himself, and he would maybe feel irritated or embarrassed if I came up to him. And it was just like him smoking and getting ready and unwind before he would go out and do his act.
Dr. Liotta struggled with alcoholism, PTSD, and undiagnosed bipolar disorder. The last 8 months of his life, it consumed him. He left my mother and I and struggled to find himself, only to realize he lost the most important parts of who he was, his family, his sense of belonging. 1 year to his death, my father and I were struggling with our own hells. I was dying for his attention and starving myself, too afraid to tell him or anyone I was alone. My father was tired of pretending, caught by his own diseases. La Volpaia in Tuscany, Italy was my family's paradise. The owners, Sylvia and Andrea, were dear friends. Andrea was my father's closest friend. They were artists, poets, blood brothers. Together, they rediscovered Dante by contextualizing their modern-day experiences.
I never found an American so cultured. I never found someone who can integrate it with my culture like he did. And so that opened not a door, opened a gate.
Dante was a man who channeled his grief into such artistry. He left a mark on the culture and language of Italy for centuries to come. Dante was deeply embedded in the fight for political power, and his poetry and family heritage led him to a notable political position. Dante was forced to become a man quickly and lost both his parents at a young age. The defining factor of his life was meeting Beatrice. Dante met Beatrice at the age of 9 and fell hopelessly in love. Although they were neighbors, women married young and quickly in 13th century Italy and were kept at home. He saw her a decade later when she was married. It was the last time he would see her. She died a few years later in her 20s. Dante described her in La Vita Nuova, chapter 2, "Behold, a God more powerful than I, who comes to rule over me." Beatrice held such a powerful force in his life that she became a spiritual, unconsecrated love. This love, beyond the prose of courtly love, created a divine figure that had the power to inspire, captivate, and consume, a woman that became the divine. The Divine Comedy was divided into 3 parts: hell, purgatory, and heaven. It was driven by spiritualism, politics, and love. The greatest theme is unquestionably love. The driving force of this theme is in Paradise in the Prima Mobile. Taken from Aristotle, this is known as the unmoved mover. The love that moved was Beatrice. On a political mission near Venice and Ravenna, Dante contracted a mosquito bite and died. Today, Dante's body rests in a grand tomb in Ravenna, and dedications to him are peppered throughout the city. In death, Dante came home to Florence, and in death, he was reunited with Beatrice. My father was shaped by these things. The world sparked something in him. The kindle that kept the fire burning was Dante. He taught international relations because he believed in change. He taught poetry and literature because he believed in the divinity of the human language. He suffered because he was human, and he used his work as a podium, like Dante, to challenge those frustrations into tools to create change. Now both men live on in their words.
Best way to move past loss is to awaken to that place inside from which nothing is ever lost. If he was here right now, what would he say to you? Clean, crisp, and unfettered by any confusion that may have plagued an individual when they were in a physical body. What could be better? What could be better?
A wise man named Andrea once told me to move outside of my father's household. I am growing, changing. I do not forget the life of my father or his Virgil, Dante, but I see them integrated into every aspect of my world and being. Young boy watches intensely as the band plays. He learns from them, and as the music fades and dies, he becomes his own person, his own player. He still remembers the sweet music of his childhood. The lines, "L'amor che muove il sole e le altre stelle," the love that moves the sun and other stars, best describes my loss. When Dante learns that the entire universe is moved by love, he no longer mourns his loss. Instead, he bears witness to the power of the souls of the universe, which is integrated into a single divine white rose. I acknowledge his divinity. I move forward knowing that my Father and I are connected by God's love.